Alright guys, so on today's episode we're going to talk about the Super NES and more importantly the one that I just recently picked up. But let's get into this. Alright guys, so the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, also known as the SNES or the SNES or the Super Nintendo as it's often called, was released in North America in 1991. It was released in 1990, I believe, in Japan. We got it in August of 91 at limited retail stores, things like that. And it retailed for a price tag of $199.99. The games available at launch were Super Mario World, F-Zero, Pilot Wings, SimCity, and Gradius 3. I remember owning a Super Nintendo. I don't really remember where we got it at. I want to say Toys R Us. I'm not 100% sure on that. But a lot of fond memories for the system. Nonetheless, in October of 1997, after the Nintendo 64 came out, Nintendo released the SN101 model, or the SNES Junior, the Super Nintendo Junior, or the Super Nintendo Mini is what a lot of people called it. Now the Super Nintendo Mini name or moniker has kind of went to the Super Nintendo Classic Edition. But the original Super Nintendo Mini or Super Nintendo Junior was this guy right here. It was a lighter form factor. All the buttons was condensed to one side. I'll throw a picture up here of the release date model so you can kind of have a comparison. It's lighter, more compact. I would say it's probably 2/3 the size of the 001 model. The buttons are on one side. There's no eject button, so you pull the cartridge straight out. There's no power light on the front of it, a lot like the NES 101 model. I'll do a separate video on that. I have one of those as well. But I recently picked this up. This came out in October of '97, and it retailed when it came out at $99.99. Now you may be asking why anyone would want to buy another one. Well, actually, you wouldn't want to buy another one. They brought this out for people that hadn't got on the SNES platform yet, and wasn't ready to jump to Nintendo 64, or maybe were more budget aware, couldn't really afford the Nintendo 64 when it launched. They brought this out at $99. I think it was $100 off the price. I think the Nintendo 64 when it launched it was at $199.99. But I'm not for sure on that, so if I'm wrong, I'll put on the screen somewhere the actual price of that. But they released this one, so it didn't have the power light, no eject button. The power switch and reset button were moved to one side, and even on the back, it only has the multi-out, so the AV out. And the AC power. No RF on this one, which isn't really a big deal now. It may have been a big deal then, as a lot of people were still using RF to hook to TVs then. This goes now, I think, for about $140, $145, something there. I actually picked this up at Game Exchange, and I give $60 for it. That may seem like a lot coming from somebody that buys stuff in bulk and wants to get good deals, but something that Game Exchange does that a lot of other retro game stores does not do is, if it's a Super Nintendo, it's one price. So whether it's the 001 model or the 101 model, it's the same flat price. So I was able to get that at a deal. It did come with the OEM or the Nintendo branded power cable and Nintendo branded AV cables and one controller. So awesome to have that in the collection. Now I have 4 Super Nintendos, 1 complete in box, 2 001 models and one 101 model. So I picked 5 games out of my collection that I was really nostalgic for back in the day, and I really played a lot back in the day. Now, this isn't my top 5 favorite SNES games, but it's 5 that is in my collection that I remember playing a lot as a kid. I remember going to No's Video and Music and renting these. I remember going to Pat's Video and Tanning and renting these. So, no particular order. The first one on my list is Super Mario World, and as you can imagine, it's Super Mario Brothers. So this is the 16-bit era. I actually forgot to mention that earlier. So the NES was 8-bit, and we're moving into the 16-bit era. So twice the bits. You know, graphically better games, better music. We were just moving into the next best thing. So as a kid playing this, wow, video games can't get any better than this. This is awesome. But this is Super Mario's debut into the 16-bit era. 2D side-scrolling platformer, just like Mario 3. You have overworld map. Really fun game. I still play it to today. Really good game. A Konami game has to be on the list because Konami was really king in the NES and SNES years. I like beat 'em ups, but Batman Returns on the SNES is a really good beat 'em up. It kind of follows the storyline of Batman Returns. You play as Batman. It's not as good as Batman the video game on the NES, in my opinion. That one's more of a platformer, Ninja Gaiden style. But this is a beat 'em up, kind of like Final Fight style, Streets of Rage. Really fun game, nonetheless. The next one, a Capcom game. Capcom was hot and heavy with their beat 'em ups then. Final Fight. I've played many hours of this. Rented this as a kid, and it's a beat 'em up. Great music, great graphics, and just an all-around fun game. After a while, you know, the first couple stages, you kind of get into a grind. But back then, it was awesome to play these games. The next one is probably one of my favorite games of all times. It's definitely up there with a few others. But these are the ones that I rented the most and was most nostalgic for then. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. I put so many hours into this game, it's not even funny. I love this game. Legend of Zelda NES was a great game. Zelda 2 was okay for what it was. But this took, you know, the formula they had with the Legend of Zelda, brought it to the 16-bit era. Great music in this game. And obviously you play as Link. You're going to save Princess Zelda. You do that through dungeons and, you know, just the world of Hyrule. Really cool game. If you've not played that one, I don't know where you've been at. Definitely need to check that one out. And the last one that I was real nostalgic for because they were classics, Super Mario All-Stars. So this is essentially like an HD remake of the era. You've got Mario 1, Mario 2, and Mario 3, all upgraded to 16-bit graphics. They never looked better. They never sounded better than this. It's great to go back through and replay these games in HD, if you will, in 16-bit. I definitely love that. Something else that we got with Super Mario All-Stars was what we call in North America Super Mario Lost Levels, which was actually the real Super Mario Bros. 2, which was released in Japan. The version of Super Mario Bros. 2 that we got in the States was actually a kind of a port and a reskin of a game called Doki Doki Panic. And the reason that is, if you've not played the Lost Levels of Super Mario Bros. 2, it is an extremely hard game. So Nintendo of America thought, you know, this is a really hard game. We don't know if it's going to do very well. So they, Doki Doki Panic, I like it. Reskinned it with Mario sprites. And it's a good game. It's different than the others, but it is a really good game. I really enjoy that game. But the way they kind of get around that, spoilers, surely you've played the game by now. But if not, it's all a dream. So that's how they kind of get around it being different from the other ones. But awesome game nonetheless. If you've not played that, definitely pick it up and give it a play. Pick up all of those and give them a play. So that's a little history on the Super Nintendo. Me showing you all that I picked up a SNES Junior or SNES 101 model. And the top games that I'm most nostalgic for on the Super Nintendo. So, hey guys, thanks for watching. If you've not already done so, hit that subscribe button. If you like the content, hit that like button and ring that bell for notifications, and you will be notified when I post a video for you. So until next time.